Now, my next guest has just collaborated with the award-winning actor Stephen Graham on a campaign to get dads and sons talking, and that is kind of what he's all about. Dad La Soul, founded by former Tunbridge Wells schoolboy Dan Flanagan, is all about getting dads talking at a time when suicide is the biggest cause of death in men under the age of 50, and a study shows 1 in 5 people say they have no one to open up to, with men more likely to say so. So could a mass Playdate with Lego, crafting, dad DJing and VR headsets be one possible solution? That's what's on offer at Dad La Soul's dad-friendly Playdates in Tunbridge Wells this Saturday. Let's bring him on. Dan Flanagan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really well. It's Monday. I like the way you call former Tunbridge Wells schoolboy, because it's been a few years, if I'm honest.
Yes, well, indeed. I'm fascinated by the Stephen Graham collaboration, by the way, because there's someone who has done a great job, I think, recently in the last 12 months or so of having conversations about dads talking to their young sons about things that perhaps they wouldn't have done before. That's kind of what you're all about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It came off the back of adolescence, obviously, the Netflix programme. It struck something, I suppose, in the nation's consciousness that, do you think, the kids are safe, they're upstairs in their bedroom, but we don't know actually the world that they're actively plugged into.
Yeah.
So with the book, it was encouraging dads to write a letter. When was the last time you actually wrote a letter? Probably since the invention of emails in sometime in the 90s. But just to share a little bit of wisdom, some ideas. So it's been incredible, the response on that. I think there was 1,600 entries, and they've been chosen, and the book comes out in October.
Brilliant.
But for us, it's dads of all kinds, stepdads, co-parents, happily married, guys who've gone through IVF, miscarriage. Our youngest dad is 16. He's just done his GCSEs.
Wow.
The eldest is a 70-something granddad who looks after his grandchildren.
Right.
Some are long-term unemployed in temporary accommodation. Others have 7-figure salaries. It doesn't matter who you are, what your bank balance said. Being a grown-up and being a parent, it can be pretty tricky.
Yeah, and I think the whole, you mentioned Adolescence, the Netflix series about a year or so ago, which sometimes it just needs a catalyst, doesn't it, to sort of get people thinking about whether they're having those sorts of conversations. And for those who haven't seen Adolescence, it centres around kind of the online life that teenage boys may find themselves in, and it sort of poses, without giving too much away, it sort of poses a question about whether parents are always having those conversations when they could do. And that's where Dad La Soul, of course, comes in. Tell us about this event at the weekend, then, Dan, which is coming to Tunbridge Wells on Saturday, which is all about dads and sons getting together, isn't it?
And daughters. We are big fans of the Raising Warriors. So, as mentioned, I'm an old Tunbridge Wells boy myself, and growing up there, in the library in the museum, it was quite quiet. It wasn't always a great fun. So, but now you've got the Amelia Scott Centre. Over here in Sussex, where I'm now based for the last 10 years, we've been doing dad-friendly Playdates on the Saturday. So we politely bar the mums, the dads get together, but then there's Lego, crafting, soft play. The kids can just create noise, chaos. The fellas can come along, have a decent coffee, and make some friends. As you get older, maybe your social circle shrink. Without being stereotypical. If you're in a relationship or married, tends to be the mums that organise the family calendars, and dad just sort of turns up. So what we've done is we've flipped it. So the dads come along, hang out, they volunteer, they make friends, and it's hard. If you've got kids of different ages trying to find something to do, especially if you're maybe that more traditional route where you've been working all week. Saturday tends to be dad day, but where'd you go? Down the park on your own, soft play where people are on their phones. We've moved along a lot in society, but it's still not set up for me to be down the park when my son was young, and there'll be a kiddie who'll be playing. I can't go over to somebody else's wife, go, hey, the kid's getting on, can I have your number, we'll go out for a coffee. Just like the mums could do. So it can be very lonely and very isolating as well.
And when you're in the situations like, like the dads will be this Saturday in Tunbridge Wells, when it's all about dads and their children, do you find that fathers are better at opening up and having conversations when it's when it's all about dads, if that makes sense?
Absolutely. They can be more present. They can put their hands up and ask for help. The way I look at it, if you, any of the mums are listening and they're on a girls' night out and they're up in the pub toilets having a gossip and I walk through the door, the conversation will change. So it's the very same for us. I remember when my boy was small, I'd take him out and strangers, it would be okay for them to come up going, "Oh, you're a good boy for babysitting, aren't you? And giving mum a bit of time off." No, I'm a parent.
Yes, exactly.
So we just let us get on with it, really.
So is the plan with these? I mean, we've got these events on the beginning on Saturday. Is the plan there'll then be more of them in Tunbridge Wells?
Yes. So the idea is we do our Playdates on a Saturday, and then we do an evening meet-up just for the dads. And we've been running those in Tunbridge Wells since October, down at the wonderful Charlie's Angels Kitchen in Camden Road.
Okay, yeah.
And my dream was always to bring it back and do the Playdates. So now we are established, and so the idea is, it's the first Saturday of every month. We will be there, so it doesn't matter what, maybe you can't make it, or maybe you don't have your kids that particular Saturday. There's very different marital statuses these days, but we will be there. Come along, have a decent coffee, and the idea, I suppose, is that the dads volunteer. So we'll have these existing activities that are always on, but then we do different themes. So we've done stand-up comedy workshops, rap workshops, DJs, Nerf wars. We've made rocket ships out of recycled materials. And it's a beautiful space where the kids can actually really let loose.
Yeah.
And there's a library, and there's a coffee shop, and there's something to do, So it's like, let us take some of the strain away, because I think maybe for a lot of your listeners as well, the cost of living, it's hard being a grown-up. Suddenly, you've got to get that energy for the Saturday to turn up for your children.
Yeah.
What do? Do I want to go to the park again? Or if I do this, it's really expensive. So us, doesn't matter if you can't afford it, we've got like Help Brother tickets. So you can come along, there's no stigma, and there's no sort of hidden costs within the activity. When you take your kids out, go, "Oh, can we have this? Can we have that? Can we have that?" And it ends up costing you a couple of £100 for an afternoon.
Yeah. I think it's a fab idea. Dan, if you want to find out more details, Dad La Soul, you can type that into your search engine of choice and find more details there. But the event we're talking about is the Amelia Scott, Mount Pleasant Road. It's Saturday between 10 and 2. Dan Flanagan from Dad La Soul, thank you so much for your time. Good luck with it.
Thanks, Adam.
There he is. That's Dan Flanagan. And if you've been affected by any of the subjects that we brought up in the introduction of that piece, you can find more details of organisations that can help and support via bbc.co.uk/actionline.
Check this out. Chuck D, Public Enemy #1. You're listening to Dad La Soul. Bring the noise.